Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeff Blankenburg. Welcome to the channel. Trade Last is already on top of it, changing some lamp colors. I'm excited to be here today. Today feels different. There's a number of reasons for that. One is this. This is the symbol for the conference that I run, which is called Stir Trek. It sounds a lot like maybe a TV or a movie series you may have seen, but it's completely unrelated. It's actually a software development conference. And we do it every year. We hold it on the first Friday in May, which today happens to be Happy May to everybody. But what we had to do was cancel it because of all of the pandemic things that are going on with COVID-19. And so today is happy and joyful because it's May and we're making our way into some nice weather, hopefully, very soon. But also, it's also sad because I really like putting this event together, and I like the way the community rallies around it and grows and shares and collaborates. It's all awesome. And so I'm sad that that can't happen this year. But we are here primarily because I spend my time in front of a camera writing code. And so I'm hoping that a lot of you that are here and that tune in are here for that same reason, because you want to see some cool stuff or see some interesting things that I might be working on. And so there's a couple of things I want to share with you that I try to continue to grow and evolve this channel every time that I can. And I made some changes just this morning that I'd like to share with you. The first is there are 2 new rewards for your Blanken points that we have down there at the bottom. One of them, this is something that I've seen people do. I don't know if you'll use it or not, but it seemed fun. There's a new one that is, let's see if I can bring up my browser to Twitch and we'll actually look at it together, because I need to go look at a view anyway so that I can reply to you all when you're in chat. So let's bring that up, and I'll get the video not playing so that I don't have to hear myself. And then we'll flip over to looking at my computer. And you can see down here where you have your Blanken points, you get this little menu. And so there's a new icon in here for just 100, which is very, very low. That's called Hydrate. And I'm going to try and commit to this. I have my bottle of water sitting here in front of me, as I always do. But if for some reason you want to make the monkey dance, I'll dance. And so if you spend 100 points, I will drink some water. But the fun one is down here at the bottom. And this is add your happy little image to our canvas. And this is something that it has been inspired by the Bob Ross stuff that we've done. And I thought might be a fun thing to start to put together. And so what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to modify either the loading screen or there will be some asset somewhere on the Twitch page where you'll be able to see this image in its most recent form. But it'll look like this. And so this is a picture from my office. This is the wall behind me. You can see that, the Energizer Bunny, who's right, if I could get my finger to move the right direction, right here, is the same one that's right here with my mouse. So this is what my office currently looks like. That's all the pops that are on this one wall. There's obviously other walls that have things on them too, but this is the one wall that's kind of behind me. And what I'm going to do is, for those points, I'm going to let you guys get into the picture. And so the original plan, if I just come to like full zoom, will be to replace the heads of all of these images, of all of these pops, with your faces. And you can buy your way onto here with those channel points. So all you have to do is buy the thing, send me a link to the image you want, and I'll stop and I'll crop out your head, or whoever's head you want to put on here. If you want to buy it for someone else, that's fine. And then I will put it on whichever figure is still available that you would like to be on. And I won't change this image out, so it'll always be the ones that we see right now. But obviously the wall behind me evolves. Like we just added Luke Skywalker and Han Solo in the Carbonite recently. So anyway, that's one of the other fun things that I thought we could do. And then I want to have a place where people can come see this image whenever they like. So there are lots and lots of options, some way up here at the ceiling. And if we were somehow to fill this thing up, then we can start replacing like Mickey Mouse and filling in all this empty wall space that we have here too. But let's see how that goes. I've seen some other channels that have done this, and it's been pretty successful. And it makes people feel like they're a part of something, and I like that. So keep an eye open for that in the channel point stuff down at the bottom of your screen. Okay. Kevin Evans, welcome. Thank you for being here. I was just mentioning the channel point stuff that we now have available. I added a couple of things, so if your guys are looking for ways to spend those, I'm going to continue to add some things to this too. We'll come up with some more creative ways. I think that I might be able to figure out how to use one of those to like automate stuff. Because again, I still have plans to do more automation behind me, more than just the lamp. But we'll have to wait and see when I can get that stuff all set up. So thank you, Kevin, for being here. All right, so oh, you know what, Treylas, that's a good. I just noticed that didn't work, and that's because I need to start it up. I need to start up the bot. Sorry, Treylas. Let me do that for you. So it's called Jeff Blankenbot. And then I can just say node bot.js. It's working now. So give it another try, Treylas. Sorry, I didn't start the service. But it should be working now. Okay, so that's enough about the Funko wall and the image. So I'm interested to see who the first person will be on there and who you'll pick and whatever, but we'll get into that. Oh, the light changes to a color of something in my background. That seems to be the color of my shirt. If we're guessing, I'm gonna guess that's the color of my shirt. But that's super cool, man. So keep an eye out for that, folks. If Treylas changes the color, he's matching something in the background. All right. So when we were here on Friday, I'm gonna have to get some Treylas channel points. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Smoke alarm made one beep in my house. No one else is here. That makes me feel good. Let's just keep going. So when we were here on Wednesday, we spent our time starting to build in-skill purchasing inside this Alexa skill. And so the goal of doing that is to allow people to buy hints for the game. That's too big. So what I'd like to do is revisit that a little bit. So we'll go to where my hint intent handler is. Somewhere. I have this hint intent handler, and if they don't have any hints when they ask for one, then we send a message that looks like this. And we basically ask the user, like, hey, do you want to get one of these? You don't have any hints available. So this is something that works now. We can upsell them that thing. And then they say yes. And when they say yes, it doesn't come to our skill. It actually goes into the monetization service itself. And it goes through the process of selling them that product. And then what happens at the end, once they're done buying the product, once they've confirmed that, they're returned back to our skill. And I have another handler down here somewhere. That is the successful purchase response handler. And this is where, in any situation that they were to buy something, I am checking to see that they bought it, and then, of course, responding to them and saying, hey, you bought the thing, congratulations. And then I give them I return them back to say, hey, do you want to use your hint now? Oh, awesome, Treylas. So we've done the beginning part, but there's one other step that I want to take a step back before we do the other stuff, which is like declining the purchase, canceling, doing all that stuff. The other thing that we need to do is look at the fact that I made some changes to my project. So yesterday was the day that the new Ask CLI, so Ask CLI v2 was released yesterday, and officially. And I went ahead and installed it. And so there's a bunch of things that are different, and if you guys are familiar with how I generally build my stuff, it's going to have changed a little bit. And I'm not a master of this yet, so we're going to see some fumbling too. So ask is still the keyword, and I think I can still say that, and it gives me a list of commands. But you'll notice that a lot of the things that I had previously, like I would always do I would do ask deploy -t lambda, right? And this would only deploy my lambda. This doesn't work anymore. It doesn't know what that option is. It doesn't know how to do it. It appears to me, and if somebody has more experience with this than me, let me know, but it appears to me I can only really do ask deploy. What this does, though, is it does it conditionally. It does not push the model if the model hasn't changed. It doesn't push the lambda if the lambda hasn't changed. It doesn't push the ISPs at all because it doesn't appear they live here anymore. And so these are things that I may change my position on later, but this is stuff that I'm just sort of figuring out as I go. And so the thing that stood out to me was that if I look at my skill package, I have a folder called interaction models, and I have a folder called ISPs. And so inside this ISPs folder, this is where I expected my ISP files to be. But what I find instead is just associations. These are the ISP IDs that are created and that are uploaded, because everything has a product ID inside the developer portal. And so if I go look at that, which is here, you can see that I have for my skill, I have in skill products, I have hint and subscription, and I can edit and change those however I'd like. I can open them up and like modify, but this value here, it ends in 84cc, is the value here, 84cc. The thing that's not clear to me, and I need to dig into this more, it's just I haven't had the opportunity to do it yet, is I don't know how to modify those things here because the files don't live here anymore. Now when I looked at the docs, which I don't have open anymore, when I looked at the docs, it looks like there are ways to update and delete and do a bunch of stuff with ISPs. But what you do is you use commands that look like this. Ask SMAPI. SMAPI is the skill management API for Alexa. And so you ask SMAPI, and then there's a whole slew of commands that you can use. But it seems like what I would have to do is basically have a local ISP JSON file. I would have to say ask SMAPI, update ISP. I'd have to give it the ISP ID, so like this long string here. And then I would also have to tell it what the file name is of the file that I want to replace that thing. It seems like a lot of work initially for me, and I'm not sure if I'm just missing the point or maybe there's a better mechanism for that, but those are things that I'm probably going to struggle a little bit with today, only because I haven't done it. And so what I will probably do is just default back to going right to the dev portal and making changes to my ISPs here instead of going through that process. The thing that I don't see in here, actually, I think I have to go into the language. Yeah, this is where those other values, like my icons and stuff like that, live. So these are all things that I will have to fix and update. And like, would you like to know more? I got rid of this question the last time because we don't need the question. You can only use one hint per weekly game. And then up here at the top, we'll save that. So it looks like maybe now I just edit all of my ISPs in the dev portal. And then I can just associate them in my CLI, but I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to manage that going forward. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I have installed the new CLI. As somebody that works on this stuff day in and day out, it feels irresponsible of me to stay on the old software. So that's why I made the choice yesterday, since it was officially general availability. But there are a lot of things that I still need to learn and explore. The other thing that you should see is that the project structure has changed quite a bit. There's two folders. Never mind the legacy and the VS Code. Those are just there for because I had to convert my project. This is our old structure. But this Lambda custom folder has my APL and my node modules in it, as well as index.js. And then I have a skill package folder, and this is what has my interaction models and my ISPs in it, as well as my skill.json file, which is something that we've had forever. So this is where we currently are. There's lots more to do in this skill, and we're going to keep moving forward, but I just wanted to let you know if you see differences, that's why. And you'll definitely see different commands from me because I have to use them now because I'm on a different CLI. Okay, so I'm going to open one more file because we had, let's see if I have it open. Yeah. This is where I was working before, and I had a thing here, which was successful purchase response handler. So what I'm going to need to do eventually is build my successful one to know which product they bought, because I am planning on offering multiple products, right? I have hints, but I also have a subscription. and I'll need to be able to differentiate between the two of those. But it'll all come to the same place, and then I will need to identify, like, did they buy the hint or did they buy the subscription? But we're not there yet. All we were doing yesterday was selling the hint. And so I'm going to also have an unsuccessful purchase response handler. And this is where I tried to do a buy or an upsell, and they declined it. So let's take this chunk, and I'm going to use this as my template for how do I respond to a user when they bought something or they tried to buy something but then changed their minds. How do I do that in a friendly, clever way? Right? Like, oh, okay, you don't want a hint. Cool. Well, good luck with this puzzle or something like that, right? Because I don't want to be like, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to buy one? Like, I don't want to be that high pressure conversation. All I really want to do is get them back to what they were doing in a friendly way. Trade last, that's good to know. You never really used Ask CLI 1 in the process of your work. So you get a clean start with CLI 2. That's good. That's good to know. And maybe it is easier for you, because I'm sure there are some things that I just am familiar with or used to and I like doing. And I feel like some of those things have been taken away from me. But maybe this will be better ultimately. Anyway, so let's get into catching the situations in which a user does not make a purchase, because that's certainly a possibility. It's probably a more likely possibility than the buy. And so in here, let me get my proper handler. I really like these arrows. They make it easy to see what's happening inside my logs. So we'll lose this. I don't need the can handle for each situation. All of that should be good. So we're just looking at, is it a connections response? Is it a buy or an upsell, which is out here on the right? And then was the purchase result declined? This means they didn't want to make that purchase. So if that's true, then we're going to say unsuccessful purchase. And I'm also going to take this name and drop it in my manifest so that I have it. Oh, it also worked that way for the SDK for you. Well, that's good to know. Sometimes coming in a little earlier or later, later is probably better, because I would like to think we're always improving. And so hopefully it becomes just a little bit easier or a little bit more familiar for you as you go through this. That's my hope for you. So let's see. I'm going to try and keep this one the way that I wrote the first one. I'm sorry, to keep this so that I don't have to reformat it for the subscription. So in this case, I come in and I do a return on the get in skill products, where I pass in my user's locale. And then I say, I want to find the product that matches the product ID that I received from my manifest. This is part of the connections.response manifest that I receive, the request that comes into my skill. And it says, hey, it's a connections.response. It's an upsell. They declined it. Here's the product they declined. So I have all that information coming into my skill. And all I'm going to do is call that API to say, oh, well, what product is that? All I have is the ID. And if the product isn't undefined, which means that I actually found something in my list of ISPs that are available for that locale, then I'm going to do some stuff. And this is where I want to say, okay, cool. No problem. Let's get you back to what you were doing. So in my trivia game, what I said was, you can always ask for a random question, but to get questions from a specific category, you need to purchase that category or a subscription. So I feel like I don't really need to do that in this case, because I had to tell them why they couldn't get access to something. But in this case, I said, they said, give me a hint. And I said, what did I say in the handler? I want to make sure I'm thinking correctly about this. I would say, you currently have 0 hints available. Would you like to get one? So if through that process, after I say, would you like to get one, they say no. I don't want a hint. I don't want to spend money. I don't want to buy it, for whatever reason. They're going to come back to my skill. And I'm going to say, I should just take them back to the puzzle, right? But I should probably say that. Okay, let's get you back to your puzzle. So let's try and do something like that. So in here, I'm going to say, it doesn't even matter what the thing is, because I'm only selling things that offer hints. So I could say, okay, let's get you back to your puzzle. Right, that's what I want to say. But what I'm really going to do, and I can get rid of all of this, I think. I don't need the reprompt text. I don't need the category. All of that can go away. All of this can go away, because what I'm actually going to do is send them right back to the puzzle. And that is return give next puzzle, handler input, and then speak text. Now, I think there's going to be a hiccup here because, good morning, W. Giorgio. I just saw your message there. There's going to be something that the Alexa monetization service says. So the Alexa service is going to say something like, "Oh, you can buy a hint for 99 cents. Prime users save 30 cents," or whatever it is. Do you want to buy it? And they say no. What I think should be happening at that exact moment is I'm going to say, okay, let's get you back to your puzzle. And then I'm going to shoot them right back to the puzzle that they were working on. But I think Alexa, when they say no, will say something like, okay, or something like that. So we might hear okay twice, but this should be sufficient for us saying, okay, let's get you back to your puzzle. I think that's going to be good. So let's take a look. I'm going to make this up high so you guys can really see this. Because if you haven't seen the new CLI, they added some nice little fanciness to the deploy. So I'll clear this out so we don't lose anything. And then I'm going to say ask deploy. We get little spinning icons and stuff. So that warning tells me that the skill package, the interaction model, did not change. So I'm not going to update it at all. But you see how we get the little spinny icon next to deploy skill infrastructure? And so all it did was push my Lambda, so it was nice and fast. If I had made a change to the interaction model, it would have taken longer, obviously. We've done that before. But it would have had a different step for this. So it's kind of interesting to see all of this data written out to the screen now for a deploy, where I really didn't get a whole lot of information before. Anyway, so that's what it looks like now when we deploy. And now I'm going to come over to here, and let's go to test and see what happens when we try to buy our hint. So we went through this a bunch on Wednesday, so hopefully this all still works. I haven't changed anything. So we'll say open scavenger hunt.
I've sent you a text message.
And I say hint.
You currently have 0 hints available. Would you like to get one?
Yes, I would.
Puzzle hint is 99 cents plus tax.
Oh.
Would you like to buy
Oh,
it?
it's 99 cents. Yeah, I'm going to say no, I don't want to buy that.
Okay. Let's get you back to your puzzle.
See, that's kind of what I expected.
I sent you a text message for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
So you can see here that I say, okay, let's get you back to your puzzle. And then I've sent you a text message for the first puzzle. Good luck. What's your answer? The trick with this is that Alexa says okay first. So I need to make sure that I remove that from my code because it's already being said by the monetization service when they turn something down. So I'm going to say, let's get you back to the puzzle. To the puzzle. So that's working. That's great. And I think this will work for whether they try to buy a subscription or a hint. In either case, if they ask me, like let's say they say, buy the subscription. And I say, okay, it's 99 cents or it's $4.99 a month or whatever. And they say, oh, no, I don't want that. Then when we come back here, we'll say, okay, let's get you back to the puzzle. Because that's always the place that we keep sending you, right? W. Giorgio, the answer to your question is yes. The CLI now automatically only deploys the things that have changed, which is super cool. That was the one thing that I was kind of surprised by because I'm always having to type in the target of the thing that I want. And now it's always just ask deploy, ask deploy, ask deploy. And it just does the things that I want it to do. So kind of nice. That is one nice perk of this for sure, and that's a command that I use so frequently that it's nice to not have to fumble with that. It's taken the smarts and done it itself without me having to think about it. Okay, so we have our unsuccessful purchase response handler, and I modified this, and I'm kind of regretting that now, but I'm going to wait to fix it until the subscription is added to the, like I haven't built the buy intent or anything yet. So I'm just going to do this. We need to modify this when the subscription is offered. Currently only works for hint. All right, so that is there. Also, for those of you that came in a little bit late, if you guys don't know, I always start like right fresh at 10 a.m. Eastern time. But I start the broadcast at 9:55, so there's like a 5-minute window of like intro music and stuff. Speaking of intro music, I don't think I started any music today. Let's see if I can do that. So now we got a little music in the background. But I start right at 10, and I talked early on. I think it might have just been Trey Last and I that were talking about what's going on with the channel. There's a couple of things that I added to this, and if you look down at your Blanken points, that little Funko-looking guy that's right below your chat box, there's 2 new things that have been added. The first one is for 100 points, you can make me drink some water, or like this morning, maybe it's Red Bull or whatever. But it's an in real life thing, and so if you do that, I don't actually know what it looks like, but I'm assuming something will show up in the chat that says, "Hey, somebody wants you to drink." But in addition to that, there's one at the very bottom that's a bit more expensive. Yeah, see, W. Giorgio just spent 100 channel points. Thank you, W. Giorgio. Cheers. But the big one is there's one now that's worth 4,000. And what I was mentioning is that I have this image, which if we zoom in on it, it's pretty big. And I'm going to use this, I think, as like a background for that opening 5 minutes, or I don't know exactly how it's going to work or where I'll post this. But you, for those 4,000 points, which I'm guessing most of you, maybe you have it, maybe you don't have it, this will be a place that you can pick one of these characters and you can replace, like you'll have to give me a link to like a headshot image or something of you or someone else, and I will take your head and put it on top of one of these figures instead. And then we will slowly but surely hopefully fill this thing in as people redeem that, but you'll be able to get your face on this image that we'll have in some obvious place. Maybe I'll put it at the bottom of the Twitch page or something like that. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work yet. We'll figure that out once we've sold a few spots, but that's those are some things that you guys can do. And I thought it might be a fun way to like have all of your faces showing as the people that are the ones taking advantage of this channel. Startup has 8.1K. All right, man, send me an image. You could be the first one on there. Let me know. All right, so back to the skill. I still need to do some things for the successful purchase, but we're now in a good situation where my skill can sell you a hint, and I can either acknowledge that you bought the hint and send you to the appropriate location. Yeah, that's where you post the URL for the... you have to send me a URL of the image that you want to use. I don't actually know how any of this works, so we're kind of experimenting here too. But I'm assuming that you will be able to send me a link to an image, and then I'll grab that image, and on stream here we'll cut your head out and we'll put it on whichever character you want. So give me all the information you like. What, I don't know if you need to see it again, but if there's a specific character that you want to be on, I can put you on that one. And I will definitely cut your head out of the picture. That's a good point, Lord of Sound. It sounds a little scary. Anyway, so we'll do that when it happens. But the key for now is that I can sell a hint. And whether you bought it or didn't buy it, I think I'm okay. I want to check here to make sure that I don't have anything else. This cancel purchase, this is something that I will use, but only once I have the subscription. Because you can't cancel a you can't cancel a consumable purchase. You also can't cancel a one-time purchase, which is like an entitlement kind of thing. Oh my gosh, Trade Last has done it. All right, so here we go. You can't cancel a purchase for. Let's see. Here's my image. Oh my gosh, he's already given me a PNG too. That's perfect. So Trade Last, what image or which pop do you want to be on? That's the real question. You could be on the Iron Sheik. There's 3 different Conan O'Briens in different states of becoming a superhero. Photo upload page that works with S3. I would imagine there has to be something that exists, Lord of Sound, but I don't know. You want the middle Conan. All right. Edit, transform. Thank you for giving me the PNG, by the way. That makes things a lot easier. A little bit smaller. I don't know how I thought this was going to work, but this is a awesome photo. We'll just put you like that. And then I'm going to chop off your shoulders, if that's okay. So there we go, everybody. We have our first contribution to this image. See if I can move you up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we have our first contribution. I'm going to name this layer Trade Last. Only 2.2 thousand left. My goodness. So this is what the image looks like now. This is what it looks like at full size, so you can see you can find yourself pretty well. And then I'm going to zoom out just so we can see what the picture looks like with that bird there. I think this is going to turn out to be a cool project. So we'll keep it going. I'll have to figure out where to post this that's in a good spot, but thank you for sending that image over. That was awesome, Trade Last. I'm looking forward to adding more people to the list. Okay, back to the code. We were in a situation where we were buying our hint. The other thing that I really need to catch is if there's an error. And there are situations in which you will get an error when you're buying something. One of those examples is if you're using the Alexa app on your phone as your Alexa device, and you try to buy something. Because of the way that there is a financial arrangement with Apple and apps on the App Store, anything you sell, Apple requires a cut of. And so, because there isn't profit to share around, I believe that they have disabled the ability to purchase things when using the Alexa app on an iPhone. So if you tried to buy a hint while in your car using the Alexa app, you would instead receive an error, and you would not be able to purchase that thing, because then we would have to give a portion of that money to Apple, I think that's how it works. So I'm going to take this error handler because this is something that could happen, and we'll try this on my iPhone to see what we get. So in this case, I don't care about this, but again, we're doing the same thing, right? It's a connections response. It's a buy or an upsell, and we're getting the purchase result error. So let me grab my other formatted handler. That's successful. Oh, I put it in between them. Okay, that's fine. And we'll put this here. So this should be error purchase response. And then I don't really need any of this stuff because I know there was an error, and I can just say something went wrong with your purchase request. You might want to try using a different device. And I can just do it like that because I'm going to hand them back to their puzzle, as I have been doing. So that's my speak text. I don't need any of this. I'm trying to simplify here. And I don't need any of this. And then we can just say return, give, next puzzle, handler input, speak text. Like so. That's the simplest of the handlers we've had so far. So this one is the error purchase response handler, which we'll add to our list down here. This shouldn't happen commonly, but it'll happen occasionally, I think. And we'll test that here in just a second. Trade less, I'm glad we can do that. It is up to date as of yesterday, actually, when I made the changes to the CLI. So everything is there as of then, and I'll update it. I usually push it to GitHub right after I get off the air, so hopefully you're able to keep up with that. Okay, so I have my error purchase response handler. We're going to go and do another deploy, and I'm going to push that new Lambda code up, and then we're going to try and buy it with my phone instead, because I'm pretty sure that is a situation in which I can create that error. So Alexa app, volume up, everybody else is muted, that's good. Okay, here we go. Open scavenger hunt.
I've sent you a text message for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
Hint.
You currently have 0 hints available. Would you like to get one?
Yes.
Sorry, I am unable to fulfill your request on this device. Please try again from your Echo device. Something went wrong with your purchase request. You might want to try using a different device. I've sent you a text message for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
Stop. Oh, that's interesting. So when I first started building ISPs for Alexa, one of the things that I found was that they didn't tell the user anything, but that time I got a very nice response that said, sorry, I can't do this. So maybe I don't even need to write my own content. I'm going to try that one more time. Open scavenger hunt. Let me see if I can type what they say. Alexa.
I've sent you a text message for the first puzzle.
Hint.
You currently have 0 hints available. Would you like to get one?
No.
Let's get you back to the puzzle. I've sent you a text message for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
Hint.
You currently have 0 hints available. Would you like to get one?
Yes.
Sorry, I am unable to fulfill your request on this device. Please try again from your Echo device. Something went wrong with your purchase request. You might want to try using a different device. I've sent you a text message for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
Hint.
You currently have 0 hints available. Would you like to get one?
Yes.
Sorry, I am unable to fulfill your request on this device. Please try again from your Echo device. Something went wrong with your purchase request. You might want to try using a different device.
Alexa, stop. Okay, so you can see that we get this really nice response from the Alexa service. Sorry, I'm unable to fulfill your request on this device. Please try again from your Echo device. I don't love that, but I also don't have any control over it. But it also means that I don't have to provide any additional speech. I can just say something like, let's well, not there. I want to keep that speech so that I have it. Because that's new, or at least new to me. I can say, let's get you back to the puzzle. Or I'll say in the meantime, so it feels a little different. We're going to build responses for these out in our database. In the meantime, let's get you back to the puzzle. So we'll do that, and let's see how that sounds. So we're going to push this one more time and see if that's a better flow, because I was trying to say the same things that the Alexa skill was saying. I didn't realize that they were going to do that for me. So let's open my Alexa app again and give it a run. Open scavenger hunt. Hint.
You currently have 0 hints available. Would you like to get one?
Yes.
Sorry, I am unable to fulfill your request on this device. Please try again from your Echo device. In the meantime, let's get you back to the puzzle. I've sent you a text message for the first puzzle. Good luck. What is your answer?
Stop.
Goodbye.
That's awesome. Okay, so I think we have our 3 cases handled, right? We have a situation where the user can be upsold a hint when they don't have one. Then we handle the 3 situations, which are they bought it, they didn't buy it, or there was an error for some reason. And we're relying on the Alexa service to kind of explain to the user why it didn't work or why it wasn't successful. But that's good. I feel like that gets us what we need for our error purchase handler. We don't really need a lot of functionality there, right? This is just because something happened, and they will tell the user what that error is. So I have my 3 cases. I think what I need to do now is think about my model, and I need a buy intent. I thought I built one, or maybe started to build one. Let's see. I added this buy here, but I don't really want that. These are all upsell kind of situations. Like, hey, I want to use a hint, or give me a hint, or give me a clue, or something. But there's going to be times where they specifically say, buy a hint, or buy the subscription, or whatever else. In those cases, I don't want to say, oh, do you want to know more about this product? I want to take them right to the sales process, the one checkpoint before they buy the thing. And so I'm going to have here a new intent. I'm just going to copy this because it's always easier. And we'll call this the buy intent. I like a buy intent because there are situations, many situations in fact, where a user will specifically remember that a product was available. So they were offered it earlier and they were like, I don't need that thing. But then later they're like, oh yeah, they offer hints. Buy a hint, right? And I want to take them right to the process. I don't want to walk them through a whole clunky upsell if it doesn't make sense. So I'm going to say buy and I'm going to call this product. We're going to create a slot called product. And I'll say purchase product. And then we'll do like because I have like get. I guess I could do get a product. How about we do like buy the, because the subscription would be the probably. Okay, so we'll just do those. And then I also need to define a slot. So let's find a place where I've done that. It's always easier to copy and paste. So So for my slot, it's going to look like this. Nope. What is happening? There we go. I want to take this whole chunk. What is happening? Let's try that again. The whole slots thing. We'll take that down to by intent. We'll replace the whole slots thing. There we go. And we're going to call this product. And then down here, we're going to have a product slot type. And then we'll have to come down here to where we have types. And we're not going to make this easy for me. So I'm going to take this first type, which is this. Copy that, and we'll add a second slot type that is this, and this one will be called product, and we're only going to have two values in here. So the first value, the ID, we'll call it big hint, and then the value here is going to be hint. Synonyms might be things like clue. I would put for those, but if you guys think of other synonyms, let me know. We can add those. The ID for this one will be subscription, and the value here will be subscription, and then my synonyms will be sub, monthly, subscription, hint subscription, old puzzles, right? Because they could say buy the old puzzles. Maybe that's why they want to get the subscription. So we'll go with those, and then I don't need this comma, and I don't need the other three values that I have in this slot, like so. Whoop. So that looks good. So I've created a new product everything. I have a buy intent, so we're going to have to build some code to handle that buy intent and recognize what product they want to purchase. It'll be one of two slot values. Okay, so let's deploy that, and we'll go test the. So this time we should see that the metadata has changed, and now it's going to do the skill package. I wanted you guys to be able to see this too. So it's way down here at the bottom, but it says skills are enabled. Skip the enable process. Uploading the entire skill package. So this is where it's actually doing all of the intent model and all the other stuff, that interaction model and slots and everything. It's doing all of that right now. And we just have to wait for that to happen. But this time, because it recognizes a change in the model, that is why it's taking a bit longer than we would normally expect. And so we wait and we wait. It's now doing no, it's still doing the same thing. Upload the entire skill package. That is done. That skill package deployed successfully. Now it's taking care of the code. And the Lambda has been pushed. And we're good. So the skill is ready to go. So what I wanted to do, if you guys don't do this, it's often very handy to check this stuff. But if you come into your build tab, which I'll open in a new tab. In your build tab, if you just look at your intents, there's this nice evaluate model tool up here. I've used this before, but I don't often talk enough about it. So I can say buy a hint. And what this shows me is what intent did I hit and what slots were filled. This doesn't actually make a call into my skill. This is just going against my model. But it shows me what would happen there. So what if I say get a hint? This hits the hint intent because it wants to use a hint. I don't. I'm torn on where we should sit there. Like which intent should actually be hit for get. It kind of feels like a buy request, but I'm not exactly sure. And that's something that we can toy with. But the worst case is if they say get a hint, I'm going to say, oh, you don't have any hints right now. Do you want to get one? And they still end up in the same process, where the buy intent will take them like right into purchasing without having to go through those hoops. So at least that's working. And what if I say purchase the subscription? The buy intent with subscription. Perfect. That's exactly how we would want it to work. So in here, in my code, I have to build that buy intent handler, which I think I have a version of already. Let's see if I do buy intent. Buy product handler, I think, is the one that I want. This one looks lengthy. I don't think it's going to be lengthy for us, but we're going to handle a user's request to cancel or return. I think that's a bad comment. So let's take my buy product handler over here. I'll put it right before the successful purchase. And let's go through this and see what we really need. So the first thing I don't need is this. And we're gonna, instead of buy product, we're just gonna call it the buy handler, buy intent handler. So I'm being consistent. And that's gonna be the buy intent. We also need to add this to our manifest at the bottom. So let's do that really quick. And the other thing that I need to do then is walk through this code line by line to make sure that it's doing what we need it to do. Okay, so this is where we have confirmed that we're the right handler. I'm going to take a comment that looks like this. It's amazing to me how much code I've already written that I can just copy and paste into places. It's good. And modify slightly, so this becomes the buy intent handler. I'm probably going to need all that stuff because I need to make sure that they can actually buy this thing. So in this case, I don't know if they're buying the subscription or the hint. So the first thing we really need to know is what was the thing that was resolved. So in here, I have my locale, I have my session attributes, I have my monetization service client. Where do I want to do this? I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm not making any calls out. But we could do it here. And we'll say var product equals get resolve values. Isn't it get resolve values? Get resolve words. And why aren't you showing me handler input and then the name of the slot? So handler input and the name of the slot is product. So that's going to get me the array of what I need, and then I'm always just going to take the first one. So in this case, I'm going to say I don't care about this. This is a function that I'm not using. But I'm going to say if product isn't undefined, and that's not actually what I mean, is it? Because I want to do it against... No, that's okay. If product 0 doesn't equal undefined, and I don't even care about that. I want product dot, what will that show up as? Product dot name and ID. So I want where the reference name equals I don't think I'm doing a good job of matching this on casing, but I think I can do product 0 dot name dot to upper case, or I could do the ID, I guess. I think that will work. We'll find out. Let's do a console log on my product here. Actually, I can't call this product. We'll call this requested product. So this is what the user has requested. That doesn't mean it exists. And we'll change these to requested. And then we can say, oh, so if product exists, so it's a thing, then TradeLast says, does get resolved words only return if a synonym is used? Otherwise, we need... no, it returns any time that we match a slot value. So even if they say the actual slot value, it will still resolve for us. So we'll still get those resolved words. But that way I know I'm working from my data rather than from the user's data, which makes it much more reliable for me. I only use get spoken words when I need to tell the user what I heard them say. So if I didn't get any results, and I'll have this here in a second, if requested product 0 is undefined, then down here, I'm going to say something like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear which category you're trying to purchase, or in our case, it'll be like, I don't know what you're trying to purchase, but it seems incorrect. Can you try again? Right? Because they didn't match one of my resolved words. That'll be the case that happens there. So in this case, if resolved product also exists, this means that I resolved something, and it's not undefined. So then I'm going to call into the monetization service client for the specific ID for that product. And if that's not undefined, then I can start selling them the product. And in this case, I have lawn mowing happening in my backyard. So you're probably going to hear some background noise for just a little bit. What I need is the product ID for my category, which I don't know. Or for my product, right? So this is going to be something that I have to change. And so I have my ISP values here, and I know if we go to the if we go here and go to the bottom and go to in-skill products, and we look at my two products, and I look at hint. Hint is the one that ends in 84cc. So I'm going to take this ID, and I'm going to use this in the right way. So I'm going to take this ID like so. This is for the hint. And what I'm going to do is make my life easy. I'm going to come over to... oh, man. Is that actually going to work for me? Yeah, I think this will still work. I'll explain why I thought that was a concern in a minute. So the ID for this, instead of capital hint, is now going to be this. And for the subscription, it's going to be this. The reason that I'm doing this is because then I have the ID that I need when something resolves. I'm basically tucking some data away from myself that when they try to buy something, I will be able to use it. So those are the two product IDs that I have, but I need to fix a few things here now. So now what I need to do is say, instead of ID, this is going to be name. And again, we're going to have to test this in a second because I'm not sure this is all going to work properly, but we'll say to lowercase now. I know I'm doing both of them, and I already found a bug. To lowercase. So those should match now. Then in here, now I can say product ID, because that will be something that I pull back from the API. So I guess maybe I didn't need to do that, because once I've matched the product, I'm good. I don't know, it still feels right. Okay, so I have that. And this is the thing that will actually kick off the buy process immediately. So I'm sending the response that I need to send to let them buy something. Now, if they... Why do I have this case? If this is if they resolve to something, but I don't... If the product is undefined, but they resolve to something, that's weird. Why would I have that condition? I'm gonna skip this. I'm gonna lose this chunk here. And then this is the. I'm sorry, I didn't hear which product. It sounded like, and this is where I use that var get spoken words. No. Var spoken words. Karthik, welcome, man. Thanks for being here. Karthik, did you just spend 4,000 channel points? Oh my goodness. Karthik, I need you to send me a image that is a headshot of you. Can you send me that in the chat? We'll do it right now. Get spoken words. Handler input. Product. We don't have a product called this is where spoken words will go. Just send. I need you to send a link. So just like send me a link to an image someplace on the web that is a headshot of you. I don't know if you were here for what we were doing, but we have this image of my wall. This is a bunch of the Funko Pops that we have. And Trade Last was the first one to get in here, but I am replacing heads with individual headshots. And so what I need two pieces of information from you. The first one is which pop do you want your head on? And two is the image itself so that I can put you on top of one. So let me know when you have that image sent over. Well, I guess I'll see it. And then you have to tell me which character you want to be on top of. There is not a Carl Sagan, unfortunately. Actually, there probably is a Carl Sagan. I don't have it. It's not in that. It's not in that picture. Carl Sagan Funko Pop. No, it looks like there's not a real one. People make customs though, and so this is a Carl Sagan that someone made. But no, there isn't a real one. There is a Bill Nye though. Trade Last is between two Conans. I like that. That's perfect. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for that stuff, I'm going to test this and see what we get. I think we're actually going to respond to the user this time. So we're not going to send them back to the puzzle this time. What we're going to do is say, I'm sorry, we don't have a product called whatever you said. Please try your request again. And then we will say speak text. I'll take this. No, we'll take the whole thing. We'll just do speak text here. These are all things that I'll go through and improve before I publish, where I go through and I look at every little possible utterance that I have, and I randomize them, and I create a database of values that could be used for those, we will do all of that. So let's take a look, Karthik, see what you got. Oh my goodness. Popped it right on Twitter. That's going to work perfectly. Copy image. And then we got to come over here. So who do you want to be on? Who's the figure that I should put your head on? And then I will do so. You can see that we've got a bunch down here at the bottom. So you get to keep their body, but you have to choose. I'll replace their head with your head. Scrooge McDuck. All right, Scrooge is right here. So I'm going to paste your image. And the first thing that we're going to do is chop your head out. I know Lord of Sound hates that. But we'll do this here. Ah. I hate when I screw that up. Let's go the other way. Just cutting out Karthik's head, no big deal. Trade Last made it a lot easier for me, Karthik. He actually gave me a transparent PNG of his head, so I didn't have to do all this Photoshop work, but I'm happy to do it. 4,000 points, my goodness, you've watched a lot. I think they say on average people can earn 220 points an hour. So this is like, what, 20 hours of viewing to earn this? That's pretty amazing. I'm going to be gentle on the chin here. Almost done. Get that ear. There we go. So we're going to select inverse. We're going to delete everything that's not your head. And then we can do this. Transform, scale. There's Scrooge. There you go, Karthik. Oh, you want to be Rick on the toilet? All right. It's still available. We can do it. That looks pretty good. Let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Transform. There you go. And so now when we zoom out, you can see that you are sitting there on the throne as Rick. So I'm going to label yours P. Karthik R. And there we go. I need to save this thing so I don't lose it. File, save as. We're going to have to do this like on my desktop so I don't lose it. So we'll call it Funko Wall. Save it on my desktop so it's there and not in my downloads folder where I tend to delete stuff randomly. W. Giorgio has his heart set on Scrooge McDuck, so that's good. That's good. That's good. All right, so we have two of them. That's awesome. And so if I zoom out a little bit, you can see we've got two. I knew it. I knew you guys would appreciate this. So let me here while we're in the middle of this, let me go to Twitch, and let's see if I can find a place to add this thing. So I don't want to play the video. But what I would like to do is I have all these panels down here, right? And so I have like an about me, rules, links, GitHub projects, that kind of thing. So I wonder if I can just edit those and add a new one. Yeah, add a new one. I'll have to make a PNG of the image. So we're going to call this our happy little wall. W. Giorgio's in for it too. I gotta save out that image. So let's do a file, export, PNG, and this will go in my downloads. That's fine. And then over here we can do add the image. This one. Oh, I want the whole thing, please. Okay, done. And then we also want, you can cash in your channel points to get your face on the wall. And we probably, let's do this first. Please choose a file smaller than 1 meg. Well, that's not cool. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that for 1 meg. If I do a quick export on this, no. Doesn't even tell me how big it'll be, but it's like a 36 meg photo. Export. I wonder if I can do this as a smaller image. Compress it down a little bit. So it's currently 19 meg. No transparency. Does that help me at all? No. Maybe? Karthik, it doesn't look like your question came through. I don't see anything that is a question from you. I think it only goes to your chat. Okay, so transparency took away 2 megs. I could also scale it down to like 50%. What does that get me? 5 meg. What about 25%? 1.4? Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to go to 10%. And we're going to export this. This is going to be a representation. Karthik, I'll get to your question in a second. Placeholder. So let's see what that gets me. What I'm thinking I can do is change this image to be that placeholder. Done. Nope. Add image. Choose the placeholder. Choose the whole image. Why wouldn't I ever choose the whole image? Done. And then the image is going to link to, and this is where we're going to go out to S3, and I will take the full version, and I will put it in an S3 bucket, and we'll link to that. So you can see the small one in the panel, and then you can click on it to go see the big one. Does that seem good? So we'll do it under Jeff Blankenburg stuff. Create folder. Now let's go back. Let's create a new bucket. Okay, so we'll create a new bucket that is Jeff Blankenburg .twitch. Yeah, we'll do that. It's fine. block all public access. No, I want all the public access. Create bucket. So now I have one called Twitch. And in here we will we'll have to go back and choose a new export, quick export. That is the whole thing on my desktop. FuncoWall.png. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to upload that file. Which is the full-size version. That's good. We're going to choose next. Grant public access to this image. Upload. We're loading our 19 meg image, which is surprisingly slow. There we go. That's the speed I'm looking for. And then I will get back to the chat. And then we got to do W. Giorgio's. So I'm uploading this thing, but this will be good. This will give me a test for updating it too. Okay, so then this thing has a path to it. We'll copy that link address, and then we'll come back here. And we'll say that image links to the bigger version. Click to see a larger version. Submit. Did that work? Edit panels. Our happy little wall. We click on it. It loads the big dog. And then you can zoom in to see yourself on that wall. This is perfect. Okay. I can live with that. So now, oh, Gold Zulu. What we're doing is I've decided we're going to use this image, which is a picture of my wall behind me here, just it shows all the pops. And if you spend 4,000 Blanken points, which you earn just for watching, then you can get your head on one of the Funko Pops, and we're going to keep updating this image as we go. So these are all the pops that are available. I need to do W. Giorgio next, so you'll see this process in action.